Right. Yeah, this was the fourth in the Chat GPT series, and it worked out okay. I think it's just unexpected is what I probably. I'd sum it up. I didn't, not quite sure that it would. I know the reference was this woman on a train thing, but I wasn't sure how it would pan out. And yeah, it's different, shall we say? You know, I think the things I've been through. Just to quickly summarise that was last night's lesson, by the way. If you remember, you should have got the reference and the link to the video will just appear in you. I don't know if you get notified or not. You should do if you remember. But anyway, so these were the pink one you've just seen was yesterday mornings. That was the one before that. So, and then it was, what was the first one? I can't remember what the first one was. It may have been this one. It may have been that one, I think. Or was it that one? I can't remember. I've done that many in the last few days. It's a blur. So let me just make sure I don't smudge last night's. But that wasn't oil pastels. This one was the Conte pastel pencils. That was oil pastels yesterday morning, which you saw. So this was the final one was talking about skills, and I'm not anti-skill, but it just reminds me whenever I talk about the skills are what you need at the time, not a culmination of user practice. And I always think about Robert and Rice saying that each painting is as if you had no skills, and I quite like that. It's just like you obviously got the skills. You don't get bogged down by thinking, how am I going to do that now? I'm going to use this skill. So anyway, still got the cough and the back end of the cold, I'm afraid. And I was going to just draw something this morning and put that somewhere because I wanted to get offsetting and things. And it's I don't want to sort of go over what I've been talking about in the last 4 videos, so I won't. I'm going to draw this old wrestler guy. Looks a bit like Eddie Hall, I think, or one of them kind of heavyweight, those strong men. Still on the oil pastels. I think I might have got addicted to using these until I make some more charcoal. I'm a bit stumped as to whether or not I can. So I'll go back to the charcoal. It's not really doable. I can do it with I've got lots of ends of charcoal. I can do it with those, but I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying the colour and the vibrance and the what these things do. I think that's the thing that's catching me. I like the the inability to get too accurate and specific, and just because the medium doesn't do that. And like with yesterday's, it was that one I was just showing you, the girl on the train thing. The amount when I did the I think last week I was talking about this in one of the lessons. In fact, it was in the lesson. We were talking about compromise and acceptance thing, and I think that probably is the secret to working with these things. It's like, it's not going to work. It's not going to do what you want it to do. And it's back to the skill thing as well. It's not going to do what you want it to do, so just go with what it can do. What they can do. So, and that, I think that is why I'm attracted to them, because it takes away all the unnecessary components of, if only I could do, I'm going to do this, but you can't, you just can't, so just, suck it up. So, also, I think it's a big thing, and I've just seen this. I was going to talk about I'm a professional. I don't know. See, I hate the professional, amateur, novice, whatever. Those labels. I hate all that. We're just all artists, And I think the problem is that while you designate yourself in a particular, pigeonhole, then you're always going to be thinking that there's something else you should do. So I don't have any designation. So I don't identify as I identify as an artist. That's it. That's the end of. And I think that's probably where I'll stay. I'm not going to suddenly become I'm professional. Therefore, somebody put on one of these groups for professionals. I think the fact that the groups for professionals in itself is a bit of a indication of the type of people that go on. There are some amazing artists on there, but there's still this sort of too many people that think too much of themselves in there. And one in particular said that I don't want to sound snooty or something like that, but is it why are we getting these amateurs and they're asking for advice, novices? I looked at the work and I thought, well, maybe you ought to be considered a novice by the state of it. It's just the fact that they consider themselves to be professionals. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure what it is. Is it because you sell your work? I don't sell any work, so I'm clearly not a professional. But it's back to these athletes that become paid to do what they do. They're suddenly no longer amateurs. They were just the same athlete they were before they started getting paid, but suddenly when they get paid they're no longer amateur and they're a professional athlete. I don't know. I suppose it's just because now they can afford to feed themselves and to travel to locations and stay in nice hotels and rather than borrowing and all the rest of it, but or whatever else to get to where they want to go, which is in a way is the I think the mark of probably of a true professional is somebody that will do whatever it takes for them to bring whatever they have into this world. No, I wouldn't consider myself a professional. I just make art, and it is what it is. Which I can't. I've got to think like that. If I say, I don't care how it's going to turn out, and it's going to turn out in one way, and it's like yesterday's completely different from the any kind of expectation, and because of it, I'm jangling a bit, sort of. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. What the hell happened there? What's that? What? But that feeling that I've got with that uneasy excitement, I want to do that. I want to please myself in that way. It's back to the thing about being surprised. The guy that said, I want to continue to surprise myself. I think that's probably one of the fundamentals for me. It's like I always want to feel as though I'm doing something of worth, of significance, of in my context, because I probably when I look at, say, these so-called professionals and I look at how bad their drawing is, it's it's wrong of me to sort of judge it in that way. I mean, that's whatever it is. I don't really care. They're nothing to me. But if they pontificate, to use that word that someone accused me of, if they do pontificate about the virtues of what they do and what being a professional means, then you got to do it, haven't you? You got to be proof of that stance. Be what you say you are, and that's because it's hard to define. I suppose that's the problem. You know, you can't really say, "Oh, they're a professional." They get paid to do it. I've seen people being paid to do some dreadful art, you know. So, and I wouldn't call them professionals by a long chalk, but. As I say, it's this thing of so I thought about it being a journey, and I was thinking about that drawing from yesterday, painting, drawing, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a journey of in itself. You know, the work in itself is a journey of. I was going to say discovery, but it's not. It's not real, is it? Because it's like. This response thing, because it's I'm not discovering anything. I'm just responding and manifesting my creative response. That's what I'm doing. So, but there is a sort of journey feel about it. You know, in the kind of evolution of your response, of your whatever you're creating. There's a kind of a journey about it, and that I'm going back to the skills. I know I don't want to keep banging on about the skill thing, but the treating it in the moment, not having the skills or not being conscious of the skills you need to apply, etc. It's very much a revelation. As you're doing it, you sort of reveal what it is that you see. Then that's nice, isn't it? I mean, if that's a way of looking at it, that I'm revealing my vision, my response to me as much as does anybody else. So if they, you know, and it gets beyond the fact of whether or not you've responded to the, you know, you've drawn the lights properly, or you've got the shadows right, or whatever, you know, beyond the technical. When you're thinking about the revelation of your response, I said I'm not really trying to talk about it too much because of the I don't want to go over what I've gone through all the last 3-4 videos, you know, just to keep revisiting it. I don't really, it's going to take away the impact of those videos really, and dilute the message. So the only reason I did them was because of the chat GPT said that I was doing my channel wrong, because it analysed my channel and said it was wrong. So that's the only reason I did it. And we'll see whether it knows best. I don't think so. So far, it doesn't seem to really have any idea about what I do. So it's not made any impact at all. But we'll see. You know, in the first stages. Because when you do these videos in the first stages, it tells you like a performance in relation to all the other videos you've done, as to whether or not these supposedly better videos, because they've got the right SEO structure and so on and so forth, it'll show you whether or not they are performing better. But as yet they're not performing as well as my usual videos, which in a way is saying something, I think. But the overall controlling factor in this is that YouTube's algorithms are pretty stupid. It's not, it hasn't got, you know, it's nowhere near, it's a sophisticated algorithm, they say, AI generated and all that, AI driven and all that. No, it's just a bit of software, mate. It hasn't got no AI has got what humans can do, so, you know, you're never going to get that. Depth of intellect that you get with it's like when the obliterated libraries, when Google came out and people were dafting off. What always surprised me about that was like these people who run libraries are supposed to be smart people, and they just didn't understand the significance of what was going on and how it was wrong and how they should have dealt with it, you know, in response to you've got the biggest library in the world at your fingertips. You know, it just shows you that the people that run libraries weren't necessarily equipped for the 21st century. You know, if they'd talked to people that were, then maybe you wouldn't have the libraries decimated as they have been. But, as I say, who am I exactly? I'm not a professional, by the way. I'm not a professional artist. I just make art. I just paint and draw faces. That's all I do. Like that guy said, isn't it? You can't really call what he does portraiture. That's what he said. Nice fella. I tell you what, though, you just see so much vitriol in some of the comments on things in general, not just the you know, the world event things, but not just in the art world. But people are so unkind. Never really understood why people have to be so unkind. Years ago, when I was sharing in Nottingham in a flat, not in a flat, it was like a house, and I just said that, you know, in this conversation, why aren't there people being kind anymore? And people were laughing at me for saying that, for saying there was not enough kindness in this world, and they laughed at me as if to illustrate my point. And then when Jackson started a playgroup, and the kids were vicious and, you know, usual kind of scroaks that you find in society generally now, and he came home and said, why are they so unkind to me, Dad? You know, terrible. You know, it's terrible. It's sort of, and all these religions, I don't want to get into all that kind of stuff, I know, but that preach hate and not kindness. You know, why aren't there people protesting for kindness? You know, don't understand. people like to hate, don't they? And like I say, it finds its way into the art world. It's kind of, if you don't like it, just move on. It's fine. There's no need to set yourself above others, and like the person that said about them, this is only for professionals, get out. You know what I mean? Which is what we were saying. And then themselves being pretty useless. But yeah, messed up, mate. Messed up world. You know, I think that's probably why I do this more than anything else, because it's as much an escape as anything else, I suppose. I say this to people all the time. This is the one place in your life where you have full control over everything. So letting somebody else's ideas of how things should be, it seems a bit silly. You know, you're not taking advantage of the opportunity to be exactly who you want to be and make art exactly the way you want to do it, regardless of what other people think or say. Or I'm looking for here. This may not be the right colour. Right colour. I'm actually almost using the right colours, which would be weird for me. That last one really was the right colours, but in the wrong place. I think that's what it was. Yeah, I'm going to. The other thing about this, about oil pastels, is you don't underestimate the blending side of it. You know, the cumulative effect of these things. You can, at some point, they will be. It's not always the colour you put down to start with. You know what I mean? At some point, there will be. You'll be, more often than not, to be honest with you, it's when you think, oh, that colour's completely, how do I get rid of that? And you start putting other colours over the top of it and things, and then all of a sudden the benefits and the features and the possibilities of these things suddenly become apparent. There, up to that point, they were just a few colours on in a drawing, sort of linear, which you see with these. And that's, I said this about the. I think when I was doing that one you just seen on the train thing, they go through a stage. I might have talked about it as something else, but they go through a stage. These things where you go into a initial drawing thing, applying a few colours down, and then all of a sudden the thing it picks up momentum and it becomes more of a most of the time for me I'm trying to fix things, so I end up sort of blending them and adding more colours to them, and that's what happens. It just turns out that it's it's the right colour. I mean, more often than not, it's tones for me. So I am trying to get somewhere near like that right colour. I don't have the colours. and often it's whatever I've got in my hand at the time. So it's not it's not the right way to go about doing it. But it is, for me, that's kind of how it works. It's whatever I've got in hand at the time, and I'll if it's tonally right. I've said this before about these things. I'm looking at tones rather than the colour that I'm using. This is a little bit like the guy, that first guy I showed you, in that it may end up like that one. I don't know yet. The other thing I'd say about, with the, like the one yesterday, and the skills thing, and the outcome will be whatever it'll be. It may be absolutely rubbish, or it may be fabulous. You kind of don't know. That's the other thing I'm all about there. And even when you finish it, you don't know. I don't know about that one from yesterday. I have no idea if that's worked or not. I'm still a little bit stunned by it. I think that's what it is. I was talking about that one. No, it was in the lesson last night. I was talking about the implication suggestion thing, and how I wouldn't say obsessive, but I am pretty much obsessive about the not drawing thing. The least I can do to capture the impression of something, the better. And that was the general thrust of what I was talking about last night. And I think these things have that as a kind of innate dimension to them. They're not like, because of this not being able to do it. And I was thinking about that eye there. You see that eye? There's just no drawing in there at all, is there? It's just nothing, but it's everything. Same with that ear. Implication, suggestion is all there, and that, I think that's one of the things I said that draws me to these oil pastels. Is I can't do it, so I'm going to have to, in some way, because I can't blending, I can't, you know, the usual sort of stuff, and people get bogged down with the blending of things and the smoothness of things, but I can't do all that. It's just, you're kind of limited by it all. All I can do is imply and suggest. I think that what happens with this as well, if you look at this one, it's got a kind of, like those 3D drawings. It feels a bit like one of those, where there's that jangly, jazzy kind of lines against each other. But I don't know. I just think there's something. But just, I know I don't want to talk about skills and what have you, but just going back to that, I think the skill in say working with something like these is finding what works with them, finding and working with how they work. That's probably the skill, apart from being able to see accurately and having dexterity and and all that kind of stuff, and motor skills. I think the other one is being able to see what they do in a kind of a positive way and exploiting that. I think that's probably a good thing to to approach any medium with. But of course, all this is just, this way of thinking is just blown out of the water when you just want to paint in oils, because you'll just learn to paint in oils and be really good at painting in oils, and that's it. You learn the craft elements of it, the techniques, and so it's a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing to what I'm talking about, this spontaneous, in the moment response stuff. That's not what your traditional artists are going to do. They're going to, because there's this thing about preparing to paint something, and doing initial sketches and all that kind of stuff. Different thing. I think that's the confusion that people would have with what the things I talk about. It's a completely different thing to what your more traditional approach would be, and it's come to terms with that. I think that's the problem for most people. I think that there's a lot of people think I'm talking in relation to those kind of things, and I'm not. I'm not. What I'm talking about is something completely different, and it's maybe not within their comprehension. That's the other thing as well. I kind of assume that people would comprehend what I'm talking about, and more often than not, they don't. They're just always, because I can tell that when I show people what I do, and then they're drawn to the ones that are highly finished or have more finish on them, and because that's their measure, that's their understanding. These are artists, by the way, not sort of Joe Public. You kind of expect the Joe Public just to be drawn to whatever is their aesthetic understanding denotes. So generally, it's just photographic replication is what the sort of the uninitiated relate to. Which is fine. I have no problem with that at all. It's just difficult to talk the language that I do to people like that, of what I do to people like that. They probably either want to know or they don't want to know. It's as simple as that. There's no skin off my nose either way. So this is that stage, when I'm going past the although I quite like the linear thing, and we're still in the stage of it being quite broken up. I like that, but we're in that stage where now I'm pushing the pastels to blend a little bit in order to fix the tonal values. So then it becomes a different kind of fish. You get that more traditional feel about it. You know, as I said, the Toulouse-Lautrec kind of feel of those amazing. There's one where I think it's a woman sat at a table or something, drinking tea, and it's just an amazing oil pastel painting, just incredible. But you get to that stage where you start to push them around, and it starts to look a bit like a impressionistic painting feel about it. You know, that turn that the 19th century stuff. It's got that feel about it, where you're trying to make the colours right, or you're trying to fix the tones. In my case, more often than not. But it happens, and what I like to do, and probably is going to happen, is that's going to get left alone, because this I've got to work on this side. So there's a kind of you can see there's a tonal imbalance of things, and it's mostly because of this what's gone off down here. But I just need to bring that up, sort out the size of his beard a little bit, so it's a little bit more, doing that a little bit more, and as I say, leave the other side alone probably. that's done. I think that's done. Let me just calm down some of these wild colours a bit, and we'll yep. I think it looks like it's snarling a bit there, so I'll get rid of that. Okay, done. Yeah, that's another one of those crazy wrong colour things. You know, I'm going to work my way through these colours, getting even more crazy and even less realistic. I can just see it as I chew through them, rather than bit by bit, as opposed to buying some more. I should buy some more. That's what I said to Jackson yesterday. I said, I could do with buying, because you can buy individual ones, so I could buy white. So, but I'm not sure if I buy white, I'll just, everything will be all sort of milky and too realistic. Whereas these are just crazy, aren't they? It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know where these sit. I think these are just like my charcoals, but only in colour. I think that's the only way I can describe them. Just I'm trying to. I'm just drawing. That's what it is. I think I'm just drawing with these things. This is a white, by the way, but it's not. It's not the one that belongs to these. I don't know. Of these ones. These ones proper. They're I think I think I'm saying, just say fine quality on it, so I'm assuming they're right. But this thing is a Reeves, and it's like a kid's crayon, really. There's nothing white about it at all. It acts more like a blender. But there's a little bit of lightning going on. Excuse me. But no, there's nothing you could call white charcoal being applied, or white pastel being applied to it. Right, as I say, I'm going to leave it at that. And it's very much a charcoal in colour. That's what it is. Right, I'll leave it. I'll catch you in the next one.